Okay, we're talking to Judge Lynn Toler today. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Recently, your book came out on the
did.
15th, called "Making Marriage Work: New Rules for an Old Tradition."
An old institution.
That's
there
right.
You go.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
So, quick question. Now, you're married. You've been
I
married
am.
22 years.
No,
correct? Or
I've
longer?
been married 23. I want
23?
I want credit for each and everything.
Okay.
Don't shorten it.
I'm sorry. So that's 23 years. We have an expert here.
There you go.
Plus divorce court.
Yes.
Now, based off marriage life,
Uh-huh.
separated from TV, and then of course TV, what has been the most impactful story you've ever heard on the show?
I think one of the most impactful stories that I have heard on the show was of a woman who started to make compromises in the very beginning of the marriage because she wanted it to work, and she went over again. So that was interesting because ever since I saw that couple, I started to notice it in other couples.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I call it the false okay rule, which is women who are mostly women. Sometimes it's a guy, but mostly women. We want that relationship to work. We'll do it. Honey, you didn't like the mayonnaise, I'll get another brand. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But when you keep selling whatever you want, eventually he wants everything, not because he's a bad guy, but because that's what you taught him. And the next thing you know, we look up and think, he doesn't care about me. That isn't the truth, but that's how it feels.
Okay, and I also noticed that love isn't enough, and you've said that. Now, why is it that when we fall in love or we get into relationships, that's what we base everything on? Well, I love him, so it's okay, and we think that everything will just work out. Why are we like that?
First of all, love, when you first attract somebody, it is like this outrageous chemical reaction you have. Vasopressin, oxytocin, all kinds of norepinephrine, all flooding your brain that tells you everything is fabulous.
Yeah.
It's like you're high.
Yeah.
And you can't see, your judgment goes when you're high. You know, any kind of intoxicant, and love is an intoxicant. And so we tend to let things go, and then that's how we, 1 year into it, look up and think, I can't believe he would have done this, or I can't believe she would have done that. Had you been able to see, had you listened to your mom,
That's
you'd have known. But you were in love, and you felt too good to believe that it was anything other than right.
And on your show, a lot of people rush, it seems like, to get married. They're either dating a week or even a month.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're living together and get married. Should there be some type of counseling before even you go to the courthouse to get married? Shouldn't someone say, give it 6 months or give it a year before you say, I do?
I mean, you're reading my mind. That's what I believe.
Yeah.
If you know them less than a year, you don't know them well enough. I prefer to, and I do believe in counseling. My husband and I got premarital counseling because you don't know and what you. My husband and I got premarital counseling because you don't know and what you don't know until you find somebody tells you.
True.
And so I believe in it. Absolutely.
And then, of course, prolonged engagements. A lot of people believe in 3-4 years. Is that too long, or is it not long enough?
Well, it depends on how old you are. If you're young, I 3 or 4 years, because you have to grow up too. You have to mature. Like the woman I was at 25 and the woman I am at 52 don't even resemble one another.
Yeah.
So the decision on a man that I would have made at 25, I don't think would have made a whole lot of sense. I'm just saying. I made that decision at 29. Which was better, and because I grew up a lot during those years. So if you're younger, wait a long time, because marriage done correctly these days is going to be 60 years, because people are living 75, 80 years routinely.
Yeah.
So you know, if you can take 4 years to figure out a 60-year commitment, that seems like a good investment of your time.
Okay. And now my next question would be, on your show, it seems like a lot of couples can make it and have workability, but just want to leave. Now, why is that when we have a bad situation, we want to stay, we have a good situation we can work with, we just want to leave?
I think in this day and age, we have a sense that everything should be wonderful all the time. We want immediate gratification. think we've got that internet with the Facebook that there's a whole bunch of wonderful guys on the internet. On the internet, you know, I'm 6'1", got long hair. I mean, you don't know me, and those relationships are so easy. They're so frequent. They're right with you, so you can you believe that you should be happy all the time. And when you got a good guy in a bad situation, then you work through that.
Yeah,
you work through that.
Okay. And also, I've also noticed on Divorce Court, which is the longest.
There you go. Don't forget that. The longest running court show on television.
And I have to ask, like, how do you separate yourself? How do you go from doing these episodes and then coming home?
The interesting thing is, before I became a judge on Divorce Court, I was a judge in a criminal court. Well, criminal and civil. I did both. And that's where I really had trouble. You put somebody in jail, you think about it. Or at least I did. I brought it home, I would think. And was that the right thing? Did I say the right thing? This guy beat that woman up. Did I do enough to keep him away from her? I brought that home a great deal because I thought I took very seriously everything I did. Now on Divorce Court, you know, they're there, their problems are real, but they're on TV and they're getting a kick out of it. And we also have aftercare. So, and I also believe that the problems that they have, I can speak to, and it's not whether or not somebody's going to get hurt or go to jail. It's like, can we make it or can't we make it? And I feel more comfortable with that. So it's easier to separate myself than it was when I was on the real thing.
And also you have a part of your show which is before the vows, where they actually come and ask you, should we get married? Should we even pursue this? Do you think more and more people need that to actually stand before someone and say, is this going to go anywhere?
Absolutely, and I did it because in so many divorce court episodes, they've been married 6 months and hate each other, and don't like anything about each other. And I said, well, didn't anybody talk to you before you got married? Didn't anybody say, you know, he didn't have a job when you knew him for 3 years? Why are you appalled about it now? And so we thought that putting together an episode where you get a third set of eyes on the matter and you require them to look at all their issues up front, and I think everybody should do that in some way, shape, or form.
True. I agree, because you see a lot of divorces now taking place now, probably more than ever.
Right.
Before couples used to stay together
and fight through it, right?
Generation. So my next question to you would be what would be, before you even say, will you marry me, what is something both people should think about? A man should think about, a woman should think about before saying yes, or before even asking?
What do I want out of marriage? What do I think it is? Do I have a 50s idea of marriage where one stays home and one works? Who's going to do the chores? What do I want out of life? Do I want a life full of action where home is just home base and my life is out here? Or when I get married, do I want to stay home and that's the center of my life and children? People don't even talk about what they expect out of marriage, and that's how one party gets dissatisfied and the other party's satisfied, because you really don't know what it is. You also have to debrief your own family. What was going on at your house? Because that's the shadow script that you're going to default to when things go rough. I mean, if your family argued all the time and something goes ugly, you're going to default to that. So you have to really think about what was my upbringing like and how am I going to make it the same or different or better, or what am I going to take from it? So there's a whole lot of things you need to do.
And the whole living together situation. A lot of people believe before you get married, you don't know someone till you live with them. And then other people say, let's just wait if I get married.
I'm old school.
Okay.
I don't believe in dipping your toe into anything.
Okay.
and it's interestingly enough, statistically, more people who have lived together first then gotten married get divorced than people who just went ahead and did it. And there's a couple of explanations for that. But I think that you do enough investigating and understanding beforehand, and it makes you more cautious and leery than it is, oh, we'll live together for now. And then you kind of roll into it without thinking, this is a huge step. Let's do it thoughtfully and slowly.
And then, of course, the combination of families. We see a lot of that on your show.
Right.
And, of course, you have stepsons, correct?
I do.
And then, of course, your
I have two
sons
biological
together.
sons, yes.
So how do you combine families like that successfully? if you're going to bring them together?
It was hard, and I don't, and I admit this in both of the books that I've written. I don't think I did a great job. I did an okay job, but I didn't do a great job. I didn't take the time, and I think this is the one thing I would admonish everyone to do, is to take the time to establish an individual relationship with each kid one-on-one. Because I didn't do that. They were just his kids, and they were there, and I did this, and I did that, and the other thing. But I didn't learn to love each one of them specifically.
Okay.
And it happened over time. And
Yeah.
now they're my boys. But I could have done it sooner, better, and earlier, and been a more meaningful and better step-parent.
Okay, now what is the hardest part about that? Because a lot of times children will cling to the step-parent because it's like, well, mommy left or daddy left. Well,
fortunately, in our situation, both mother and father were still in the relationship. We're still in those children's lives. So that worked out to be